Today's lesson is about properties of exponents combining like terms. Now, this is actually a review from last semester. We've already done this before on a smaller scale. Now you're going to have to be able to do it while remembering the other rules for exponents. Alright, so my content objective is I will subtract coefficients of like terms. This is kind of like a preview of what's going to be happening. We're going to be working with coefficients. Language objective, I will correctly say and write how to read a number with an exponent. So we're going to jump right into that. How do you read a number with an exponent? Now some of you guys are still saying this incorrectly, so that's why we're doing this part right here. So I'm going to say this right here is read as x to the power of 2. And there's other ways of saying it. There's a couple other ways that I told you guys already in class. Like you can say it this way and it's still correct. But you can't say x2, that's not correct. Now this is read as 3x to the power of 5. Now down here I have a sentence frame for reading these kind of things. So this right here would go in this blank, and then over here you would write the coefficient and variable, and the power goes over here. Alright, so review. Like terms are terms that have the same variable and power. On the mid-unit review last week, I asked you guys to, write this down for me. And some of you looked it up on the internet, and some of you took out your notes from last semester and found it there. So I have a sentence frame down here that I've already completed for you guys. 4x and x are like terms because they have the same variable and power. Alright, so if I look at both of them, the base or the variable is x for both of them. This one has a coefficient of 4. Technically there's a 1 here, those coefficient. And then the power. They don't have power. So that means the power of 1. So, same base, same power. And then I was going to have you guys on your whiteboard give me an example of what those look like. Go ahead and copy this into your notes, and then write your own example. Don't copy mine. Now, if I were here, I was going to have you guys write this on your whiteboard as well. Yes and no. And we were going to do an activity where I was going to give you guys several different, let's say, terms, and ask you if they were alike or not. So we're not going to do this, but I am going to ask you guys to copy the rest of these down so that you guys can answer them on your own. So here's the first one. Like terms, yes or no? I have x, and I have x to the power of 2. So copy these down. Are they like terms? Yes or no? And more importantly, how do you know? Alright, so I'm hoping you guys copied it down, had some time to think about it. The answer for this one is no. They are not like terms. The reason for that is, yes, they have the same base, same variable, but this one's power of 2, this one's power of 1. They're not the same power. Alright, same thing here. Are they like terms? Yes or no? Go ahead and copy these down. And the answer for this one is going to be yes. X and x, no power, which basically means power of 1. And the coefficients are irrelevant at this point. All I really care about is it the same base, it's the same power. For this one, the answer is yes. Alright, go ahead and copy this one down. So are these like terms? I have x squared, or x to the power of 2. I have 6x, and I have 5x to the power of 2. Are these like terms? Correct answer is no. These two are like terms, because they have the same base and power, but this one, the same base, different power. So all three of them are not like terms. These two are, this one is not. Alright, last one. Are these like terms? Yes or no? I have x squared, 6x squared, y squared, and 5x squared. Correct answer here is no. They are not like terms. Yes, they all have the same power, but this one is a y. It's not the same base, not the same variable. So these are not like terms. The rest of them are. This one, and that one are like terms, but this is the oddball, so it makes the answer no. Alright, coefficient, the number being multiplied by the variable. In layman's terms, it's the number in front of the variable, but I told you guys, this definition, invalid. That's geography. I want a mathematical answer. So the coefficient of 4x is 4. It's a number being multiplied by the variable. Second is the times right here. Alright, now, obviously, I'm not in class, can't do the whiteboards, but I want you guys to copy these down. Identify the coefficient of the following term. So I have 14b, power is 1, so there's no power. Coefficient here is, in fact, 14. Now I want you guys doing the same thing here. Copy this example down. What is the coefficient? If you said the coefficient was 12, good job, you are correct. Alright, right here, what is the coefficient? This one's not as easy. This one has something that we call a ghost coefficient. So what is the coefficient? So what's here? Well, the correct answer for this one is -1. So remember, if there is no coefficient, coefficient is 1. If there is no power, the power is 1. And this one happens to be negative, so it's -1. Alright, so ghost coefficient. Copy this down, ghost coefficient, and then write a ghost coefficient is, and then complete the sentence. Now I'm not going to give you this one because that would be cheating, so be prepared to share this out tomorrow. So again, write ghost coefficient, and the ghost coefficient is, and think about what we did here. Alright, moving on. Alright, here's my first example of the day. So I'm going to do this one for you guys. So here's what I'm going to do. If I have the same base and power, which, they're both x's, they're both power of 1, I can combine the coefficients. Now I have subtraction here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 minus 4. If I have 2 minus 4, technically I can do same, change, change. This stays the same, this changes, this changes. Now, I have a positive and a negative, which means I have to subtract. So I have to subtract and I get 2. Now, of which one is there more of? Well, there's more of these, the negatives, so our answer is going to be negative. So my answer for this problem is going to be -2x. So before I move on, what did we do here? Well, what we did is we kept the variable. That didn't change. We kept the powers, power of 1 here, power of 1, still power of 1 over here. That didn't change. The only thing that did change was the coefficients. So for the purposes of this lesson, that's all we're going to do. We're going to keep the same base, keep the same power, and then we're going to do whatever we have to do with the coefficients. My constant objective is that we're going to subtract, so it's going to be a lot of subtraction. But again, we have integers, sometimes it's not always subtraction. Alright, I want you guys to copy this example down, and I want you guys to try it out. So pause the video here and try it out. Alright, so hopefully you guys paused the video. So again, we're going to keep the same base, same variable, and the same power. So they're both x squared. We're going to keep that. Now I have -4 minus 5. Sorry, that's a little weird. And I'm going to go ahead and do same, change, change again. So this is the same. This changes, and then this changes. So now I have 2 negatives. When I have 2 negatives, I have to add them together. So I add these together and I get 9. The second part of that rule is you add them together and you keep the same sign. So I'm going to have a -9. Alright, so again guys, keep the same base, keep the same power. Do what you have to do with the coefficients. So in this case, they were both negatives after I did the same change, so I added them together and I kept the same sign. Alright, here's the next problem. Try this out. So again, go ahead and pause the video and then try it out. It's okay to make mistakes here, guys. I'm not going to do all these problems for you. Alright, so hopefully you paused the video, you tried it out. Okay, so small problem. These two are like terms. This one's not. So this one right here, I'm going to go ahead and leave alone. So I'm going to go ahead and write that one over here. They're not like terms. We cannot combine them. Now these over here, those are like terms. We can combine those. So I'm going to go ahead and write x over here to the power of 3. And over here, I'm going to work with the coefficients. So I have -4 plus 9. Now they're different. This is positive, this is negative. So that means I have to subtract. Now, of which one of these is there more of? The negative or the positive? Well, in this case, there's more of the 9. That's a positive number, so this is going to remain a positive. So over here, I'm going to put plus 5. That's my answer. So to review, I can only combine things that are like terms. This one is not a like term because it has a different power. So I'm going to leave this one alone, and I'm going to combine the coefficients of the ones that are like terms. And again, to review the rule, if there are different signs, we have to subtract. We keep the sign of the number that there's more of. Alright, and one last problem that I'm going to do with you guys, and the rest of them you're going to be on your own. Try this one out again. So pause the video, try it out. Alright, so again, we have something similar going on. These two right here, those are like terms. This one is not. So I'm going to write equal to, and I'm going to put negative x squared. I'm going to leave that one alone. Now these two, I can combine those. I'm going to go ahead and write the x to the power of 3 over here. Yeah, and that bell is for collaboration, so I need to get this done so I can get to my meeting. So I have 5 minus 9. And again, I'm going to do same change. So I have 5 plus negative 9. I have a positive and a negative. I have to subtract. I'm going to get 4. And then I have to keep the sign of the one that there's more of. So of these two things, there's more of the negative. So I'm having a negative 4. So I'm going to put minus 4. And then x to the power of 3, I will move this way so it looks a little better. Now that concludes the problems that I'm going to go ahead and do for you guys. The rest of them you're kind of on your own. So try this one out. Write it down. Obviously you're not going to use whiteboards. Write down your notes. Try it out. Remember you can only combine things that are the same, like terms. And you're also going to try this one out. Once you have both of those done, go ahead and go to Google Classroom and your homework assignment should already be there. Alright guys, well good luck. May the force be with you.